It's day 10 of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. पूरी तैयारी मेरी हो चुकी है. मैं स्टूडियो जाने के लिए तैयार हूं. बट आई थॉट आपके लिए एक स्पेशल वीडियो बनाता हूं. क्यों? क्योंकि अब आधा वर्ल्ड कप खत्म हो चुका है यार. 9 दिन में आधा वर्ल्ड कप खत्म हो गया. 32 मैचेस ऑलरेडी एंड so many surprises, so many upsets in this. How are the super powers doing? How are some of our super heroes doing in this World Cup? मैंने सोचा आपके लिए एक बढ़िया सा वीडियो तैयार किया जाए जस्ट टू गिव यू एन अपडेट कि अभी तक इस विश्व कप में हुआ क्या है, और अगर आपने मिस किया है तो आपने क्यों मिस किया है और आपको क्यों आगे का जो रास्ता है वो मिस नहीं करना चाहिए. So my bags are packed, I'm ready to go, and also I have a very special surprise for you. A friend from Barcelona joins me in studio to talk you through what's the World Cup been so far. Right? So off we go. आप वीडियो देखिए और मैं स्टूडियो की तरफ जाता हूँ. And don't forget to join me on the Sports 18 network and the Jio Cinema app. It's free. Download it. ओके सो एज यू कैन सी ब्राजील और स्विट्जरलैंड का मैच जो है वो अभी किक ऑफ होने वाला है स्टेडियम 974 में. ये तीसरा मैच है इस डे 9 का, जिसके साथ हम इस ग्रुप स्टेजेस के सेकंड राउंड का एंड देखने वाले हैं. राइट, बट व्हाट अ डे वी हैड यार. शुरुआत हुई कैमरून और सर्बिया के मुकाबले से, जहाँ पे एक नहीं दो नहीं 6 गोल देखने को मिले. उसके बाद देन वी मूव्ड ऑन टू द एजुकेशन सिटी स्टेडियम, जहाँ पे हमें फिर से 5 गोल देखने को मिले एंड गाना पिक्ड अप देयर फर्स्ट विन इन द वर्ल्ड कप सिंस 2010 में आई थी वो आखिरी जीत. यू कैन इमेजिन कि गाना के फैंस के लिए इसके क्या मायने हैं. राइट, मैंने सोचा आपको थोड़ा सा स्टूडियो का टूर देता हूँ. आइए दिखाता हूँ. तो ये हमारा स्टूडियो है, बढ़िया सा शानदार सा, बड़ी बड़ी स्क्रीन्स लगी हुई हैं, काफ़ी सारे कैमराज हैं, जिप कैमरा भी फ्लोट करता रहता है. उसके साथ ये सारी स्क्रीन्स हैं जिससे हमें सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती है. ये स्टेयर्स हैं जिससे हम ऊपर टैक्टिकल एरिया में जाते हैं. थोड़ा सा अगर कैमरा घुमाएंगे तो दिख जाएगा, वहाँ पे सारे टैक्टिकल पीसेस किए जाते हैं. दिस इज़ आवर ऑफिस. राइट, जहाँ पे है हम बड़े बड़े लोगों के साथ बैठते हैं. वेन रूनी थे, लुइस फीगो थे, रॉबर्ट पिरेस, सोल कैम्बल, ईगोर स्टीमैच हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं. प्रद्युम्न रेड्डी हमारी सारी टैक्टिकल एनालिसिस करते हैं. जिल्बर्टो सिल्वा भी आने वाले हैं. बिट ऑफ अ रिवील फॉर यू. राइट, बट उसके अलावा मैंने सोचा कि क्योंकि ये जो सेकंड राउंड है ग्रुप स्टेजेस का वो आज खत्म हो रहा है विद ब्राजील, स्विट्जरलैंड एंड लेटर क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डोज पोर्चुगल इन एक्शन अगेंस्ट लुइस सुआरेज इज उरुग्वे. तो आई थॉट इट्स अ गुड टाइम टू जस्ट गिव यू गाइज एन अपडेट अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपेंड इन द वर्ल्ड कप. और मैं सोचा लेट्स शो यू आवर पार्टनर इन क्राइम ऑन वीजा मैच सेंटर लाइव, द लवली सेमरा हंटर, ऑल द वे फ्रॉम बार्सिलोना. वो यहाँ पे आई हैं. अपॉलॉजीज फॉर द हिंदी बट आई हैव टू टॉक टू देम. बार्सिलोना से तो आई हैं, लेकिन इनका वक्त कैसा बीता है यहाँ पे, हाउ शी एंजॉयड द वर्ल्ड कप. आई थॉट आई पुट हर ऑन द स्पॉट एंड आस्क हर अ फ्यू डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस एंड आस्क हर अबाउट हर टाइम इन इंडिया. सो सेमरा, ready to go? I am sure you understood every word that I've just said.
Yes, of course. You can ask me in Hindi if you want.
Oh, lovely. There you go. What a start.
See,
that
he
is.
did say it was a really difficult question, so if you ask me in Hindi, then I won't be able to answer it. But anyway.
See, the World Cup's coming to the halfway stage, right? By the end of the night. I'm so glad I'm done for the day. लेकिन सेमरा जो है वो बाकी का मामला अब संभालेंगी. She's got 2 games still to go, obviously with this kickoff just happening. So Semra, how's your time been in India, right? I mean, you've been in Spain, you've been covering the La Liga with Guillem Balaghi and so many other brilliant experts. How's it been in India for you?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's my second time in India. The first time I was here was about 5 years ago. I was in Kerala with some friends and we got to tour around. We got to see Kochi and Munnar as well as the backwaters. It was spectacular. This is such a different trip. Obviously, I've never been to Mumbai before or Bombay. I get to meet all of you great people and I'm just having a fabulous time. I'm having an absolute blast.
God's own country, right? Kerala fans, I hope you're listening to this.
That's
I mean,
true,
that state absolutely breathes football, right? I think it's one of the epicenters of football apart from West Bengal and Goa. Being the 2 other major regions, the hotbeds of football as we call it. Fantastic, you've already been there. Otherwise, I was going to recommend कि आप केरला जाइए और मिलिए, right, Kerala fans?
I need to go back though, actually.
Yeah.
I've been told I need to do these Ayurvedic massages, which we didn't do when I was there. So
there you go. Any other suggestions for Semra? आप भेज सकते हैं comment section में. बताइए कि Semra को और कहाँ घूमना चाहिए India. Right. So back to it.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're reaching the halfway stage of and what a tournament we've had, right? It's been absolutely fabulous. Some great stories as well. What's been your favorite game of the tournament? If I could put you on the spot straight away.
well, I'm not biased or anything, obviously. I'm going to go with Spain's 7-0 victory against Costa Rica because I love Spain. It's my national team. It's the team that I support. I was born and raised in the US, but I've been living in Spain for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I've also become nationalized, so I'm also a Spanish citizen, so I can officially call them my national team. But it was just brilliant to see them in such flying form and scoring goals so freely.
That's
something
true.
we hadn't seen from them in a while, actually. So
Yeah.
it's just brilliant stuff.
And then comes the draw against Germany. So they
Exactly.
still have to go to the knockout stages. उसके बारे में हम शायद आगे बात करें आने वाले वीडियोस में. Best goal of the tournament for you, Semra?
Best goal
Yeah.
has to be, I was going to say Gavi. I did really love Gavi's goal the other day whenever he hit it on the outside of his boot and he hit the post on the way in. But after that, we saw Richarlison with a scissor kick and it was just sublime. And the thing is, we saw it coming because he was practicing it. I'm sure you saw the images. He was training, he was doing it over and over and over again. So clearly he was waiting for the right moment when he would be able to put it into practice in an actual game, and he did, and it was just a work of art.
I love the expression as well. I can't disagree, right? Richarlison थोड़ा सा under pressure थे. वो Premier League में 0 goals in the Premier League. A lot of people said Firmino को उनकी जगह होना चाहिए था, but guess what? Richarlison arrived in style. I can't disagree with that. Okay.
There are some players, you know, whenever they pull on the national team shirt,
something
they
happens.
completely transform.
Possessed.
Yeah, that's Richarlison for you. So there you go.
There you go. Okay, so she's picked Spain and she's picked a Brazilian goal as her favorite. The best player for you in the World Cup so far?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because there have been a lot of really good players, a lot of really good performances on an individual level. I'm gonna have to go with Spain again.
Spain again?
Spain again. I have to. I've got to
take her passport away.
Team, you know? I'm going with Gavi and Pedri. I'm going with both of them. Actually,
okay, yeah,
because they're both a little bit different. But you know, if I have to pick one, I'm gonna go with Gavi. Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's tenacious. He has so much fighting spirit. He has that drive, that hunger. I mean, he will bite anybody's ankles. He'll take anybody down. He's absolutely fearless, and I think we need to see more players like that.
What is he, 18?
He's so young.
Yeah.
He's super young. He's got so much talent. He's got so much quality. He can play in a lot of different positions in the midfield.
I agree.
But he's the future. He's the future. And he still has room for development, of course, but the fact that he's come into the side, scored, the youngest player to ever score for Spain in the World Cup, before that was the youngest player to ever feature for Spain. So, future's bright.
I can't disagree with that. Although I have a few in my list, लेकिन आज सेमरा का दिन है. It's her day today, so I'm going to stick with her choice for the day as well.
Name at me. Who did you go with?
I actually went with Mbappe, to be fair, because a lot of criticism कि PSG के साथ वो कैसा खेल रहे थे, and a big money signing perhaps for Real Madrid in the future, but that's all in the future. In the present, he's announced himself. Nobody scored more World Cup goals than Mbappe since the last edition, right? So eyes on him as well. Even though I like what Semra has done because she's keeping an eye on the actual future, which could be Gavi, Pedri, perhaps, along with Mbappe. They could pass on the ball or the torch to him, perhaps. Speaking of the ball, by the way, Semra, I thought if you were to hand over the Golden Ball award right now to the best player, I know आधा ही tournament हुआ है, who would that be to?
Oh.
Best player for you?
The best player for me right now? That's a very good question. I have to say, I wish Karim Benzema was here because I would love to see what he was capable of doing in the World Cup since he missed out, but obviously that's not going to happen. So, who is actually there that I have to pick? Maybe I'm going to go with Messi.
Okay.
First of all, because he's Messi.
And that goal at Lucelle.
And also because this is going to be his last World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe he's not the best player of the tournament so far, but still, I just feel like the bigger story around who he is about Argentina and what it means if they end up winning, what it means for him on an individual level if they end up winning. I don't know, I think I'm going to go with him because why not? This is the last chance for him.
Yeah,
so.
It is the last chance, correct. Which actually begs the question, right? That moment at the Lusail Stadium, जब मेसी ने वो गोल मारा, आपने नहीं देखा तो please Jio Cinema की app पे जाके watch the highlights of that game between Argentina and Mexico where he scored that goal. The best moment for you in the World Cup?
Best moment?
Yeah.
Has to be spending every day in the studio with you guys.
एक ही दिल है मेरा. कितनी बार जीतेंगे ये लोग? But seriously.
I know you think that I'm saying that to be like cheeky and cheesy, but I'm actually really being serious.
आप लोग भी बता सकते हैं आपका best moment क्या रहा है. But Semra, come on, outside of the studio, the best moment on the pitch for you perhaps.
Best moment on the pitch. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Saudi Arabia and the win of Argentina because that's something you don't really see hardly ever. It's a rarity in football, and just to see what it meant to them, and there was that fan who travelled by foot, 55 days, 1,000 kilometers, something like that, from Saudi Arabia all the way to Doha, and you got to witness what was a historic win for them. I mean, those are the kind of football stories that we love to see and that we live for, right? So
correct.
I think it's got to be that for me so far.
That leads me nicely into my final question. अब इसको और परेशान नहीं करेंगे. इन्हें मैच भी देखना है और मैच को कवर भी करना है, right? So she has to go back to broadcasting again since I'm done for the day.
I'm a night owl. It's all good.
The biggest upset, since you spoke of Saudi Arabia, is that the one for you?
That's the one, yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I
this
guess
tournament has had so many.
It's true. I mean, obviously Japan was a pretty big of a surprise, but maybe it's not actually that big of a surprise because Japan are actually a football nation on the rise, and I think all of us maybe out in the West don't give enough credit or appreciation to what's happening over on this side of the planet, further out east, but they've actually got some really good players. A lot of players are playing in Europe, and so maybe it wasn't as big of a shock in that sense, but Saudi Arabia, without a doubt, we're talking about a team that's ranked 51, 52 in the world, and they beat the third best team in the world. I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
Sensational stuff.
I'd probably put number 2 on that list would be Morocco beating the number 2 side in the world, perhaps. It's a close number 2.
That's a great game as well, and a great result, I have to say.
Okay, we'll go with Saudi Arabia. आपके हिसाब से सबसे बड़ा upset कौन सा था? You can let us know in your comments. Your best player, who would you give the golden ball award to if Semra were to hand this ball over to you right now? You can let us know in the comments. Fantastic stuff. Semra, I won't bother you anymore. Thank you so much for doing this. And I hope that we can do it once again, perhaps, just before the semi-finals. क्या सोचते हैं आप? Okay.
I'm here. You know where to find me.
And you can find her on Visa Match Center Live every match day, 1 hour before kickoff for all the build-up. और अगर आपको Semra नहीं दिखी तो शायद मैं दिख जाऊंगा with all these fabulous experts that we've had. Hope you've enjoyed this. Comment section में बताइएगा जरूर. Until the next time, it's time to say goodbye to Semra. भाई उम्मीद है कि आपको सेमरा हंटर और मेरी चैट पसंद आई होगी. Both of us are co-anchors. Both of us have had the privilege of co-hosting this World Cup on the Sports 18 network and on Jio Cinema, wherever you guys are watching. And it was a real pleasure talking to her. And it's a real pleasure watching her work. She's an absolute professional. Right? सेमरा जो है वो 2 गेम्स कवर कर रही थी जिनके बारे में हमारी थोड़ी सी चर्चा रह गई क्योंकि वो गेम्स जो थे वो तभी भी चल रहे थे और उनके रिजल्ट आए नहीं थे. सो जस्ट अ क्विक अपडेट फॉर यू. ब्राजील ने स्विट्जरलैंड को 1-0 से हराया. उसमें मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के मिडफील्डर और ब्राजील के कोच के हिसाब से दुनिया के सबसे बेहतरीन मिडफील्डर ने 1 गोल मारा एंड दैट वाज इनफ to help Brazil become only the second team in this World Cup so far to make it to the knockout round. So well done to the most successful side in the World Cup. It's only the first time since 2010, I think, that they managed to win their first 2 games in the group stages of a World Cup. So that tells you how big an achievement this is for Brazil. So well done to Brazil. Joga Bonito all the way. What about the last game of the night? Portugal and Uruguay were in action, right? And all eyes were on Ronaldo and Cavani and Suarez. Suarez तो बेंच पे थे. Cavani ने स्टार्ट किया. रोनाल्डो की बेहतरीन परफॉर्मेंस रही. He was involved in every attacking move that Portugal were making. And eventually that came to fruition. हाफ टाइम तक स्कोर लाइन 0-0 पे रही. फिर उसके बाद सेकंड हाफ में ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस की एक बॉल, क्रिस्टियानो रोनाल्डो काफी ऊंचा तो उछले लेकिन उनका वो टच नहीं लगा जिससे वो हेडर आ जाता और वो यूसेबियो के 9 गोल के रिकॉर्ड को मैच कर पाते जो कि उन्होंने वर्ल्ड कप में स्कोर किए हैं. सो रोनाल्डो रिमेन्स ऑन 8 गोल्स बट ब्रूनो फर्नांडिस स्कोर्स द गोल एंड पोर्चुगल गो 1-0 अप एंड लेटर ऑन ब्रूनो विन्स अ पेनल्टी courtesy of a handball and then converts the penalty to make it 2-0 on the night. अब इसमें 2 चीजें हुई हैं. एक, पोर्चुगल अब तीसरी टीम बन गई है फ्रांस ब्राजील के बाद to go into the knockout rounds. And the other thing that's happened is that remember 2018, मैंने शायद आपको थोड़ा सा बताया था अपने पिछले वीडियो में कि कैसे रशिया में हुए उस वर्ल्ड कप में यूरुग्वे ने पोर्चुगल को बाहर का रास्ता दिखाया था राउंड ऑफ 16 में. Revenge tastes sweet sometimes. So Ronaldo's Portugal through to the next round, and that brings us to the end of the final. Okay, then the final round of the group stages begins on day 10 of the World Cup. और बहुत ही मजेदार मुकाबले आपके लिए आने वाले हैं. मैं ज्यादा प्रीव्यू में नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि मैं आपको पॉइंट्स टेबल के लिहाज से थोड़े से समीकरण, थोड़े से परम्यूटेशंस और कॉम्बिनेशन समझा देता हूं. तो ग्रुप ए की चारों टीमें एक्शन में है, ग्रुप बी की भी चारों टीमें एक्शन में है. तो शुरुआत करते हैं ग्रुप ए से. ऑलराइट, ओके. सो नेदरलैंड्स हैं फिलहाल 4 पॉइंट पे, इक्वाडोर है फिलहाल 4 पॉइंट पे, सेनेगल है फिलहाल 3 पॉइंट पे और कतर वर्ल्ड कप से बाहर हो चुके हैं. दे वर द फर्स्ट साइड टू बी एलिमिनेटेड फ्रॉम a home World Cup. Sadly for them, first team since South Africa to get to host a World Cup and get knocked out in the group stages. All right, no problem. So Qatar are out, but 3 teams are still in the mix to go to the knockouts. अभी तक कंफर्म नहीं हुई है वो बर्ड्स. नेदरलैंड्स के लिए सिचुएशन थोड़ी सी सिंपल है, राइट? अभी वो इक्वाडोर से गोल्स के लिहाज में, गोल डिफरेंस के लिहाज में, हेड टू हेड रिकॉर्ड के हिसाब से और गोल स्कोर्ड के हिसाब से भी बराबरी पे है. The only reason why they are top of Group A is because they have a better fair play record than Ecuador. तो उनके लिए सिचुएशन थोड़ी सी सिंपल हो जाती है. वो जीतते हैं तो डेफिनेटली आगे जाते हैं, ड्रॉ करते हैं तो भी आगे जाते हैं, और अगर हार भी जाते हैं तो भी उनकी चांसेस बाहर होने की कम ही है. इक्वाडोर के लिए भी इसी तरह की सिचुएशन है. इट्स जस्ट दैट दे वुड वांट टू टॉप द ग्रुप. तो अगर जीतते हैं तो चांसेस बढ़ा देते हैं टॉप करने की, ड्रॉ करते हैं तो भी वो टॉप कर सकते हैं बट डेफिनेटली आगे जा सकते हैं. हारते हैं तो देन दे विल डेफिनेटली नॉट टॉप द ग्रुप एंड दे विल रिलाई ऑन समथिंग इनक्रेडिबल टू हैपन इन द गेम बिटवीन नेदरलैंड्स एंड कतर to be able to go through to the next round. So they don't want to leave it to Qatar to beat Netherlands. They'll want to keep their kismat in their own hands and try and go to the knockout stages. याद दिला दें कि ग्रुप ए की जो टीम टॉप पे रहेगी वो ग्रुप बी की रनर अप से खेलेगी अगले राउंड में, और ग्रुप ए में जो टीम सेकंड नंबर पे रहेगी वो ग्रुप बी के टॉपर से खेलेगी. तो चलते हैं ग्रुप बी की तरफ, राइट, जहां पे इंग्लैंड है फिलहाल 4 पॉइंट्स के साथ, 1 विन 1 ड्रॉ. ईरान है फिलहाल 3 पॉइंट्स के साथ। रिमेंबर दैट फेमस ईरान विन अगेंस्ट वेल्स जहां पे इंजरी टाइम में उन्होंने 2 गोल मारे थे। Wow, scenes at that stadium, right? So Iran are on 3 points in second position. The USA started their campaign beautifully, but they've only got 2 points courtesy of 2 draws to show for their efforts. Now last position पे Wales हैं जिनका पॉइंट सिर्फ एक है, लेकिन दे स्टिल हैव अ पॉइंट टू प्रूव बिकॉज अभी तक टेक्निकली मैथमेटिकली वो बाहर नहीं हुए। अब इंग्लैंड के लिए सिचुएशन बहुत ही सिंपल है। अगर उन्हें नॉकआउट राउंड्स में जाना है, जीते तो पहुंच जाएंगे, ड्रॉ किया तो पहुंच जाएंगे, और अगर वेल्स से वो 4 या ज्यादा गोल से नहीं हारे आज के होने वाले मुकाबले में तो भी वो पहुंच जाएंगे। द आइडिया फॉर इंग्लैंड इज टू ऑब्वियसली टॉप द ग्रुप, क्योंकि वो शायद उम्मीद करेंगे या नहीं उम्मीद करेंगे कि नेदरलैंड्स टॉप करें दूसरा ग्रुप, बिकॉज इफ नेदरलैंड्स टॉप एंड इंग्लैंड आर सेकंड then Netherlands and England play in the round of 16. So anyway, that's all about England. किस्मत उनके हाथों में, that is the important story. What about Iran on the other side? For some, a huge surprise package. A lot of people would have thought maybe England and USA are the favorites to go through, but Iran have really made life very interesting. Iran अगर जीते तो डेफिनेटली आगे जाएंगे, ड्रॉ किया तो भी आगे जा सकते हैं क्योंकि उनका मैच एक्चुअली यूएसए से है। सो ड्रॉ विल वर्क वेरी नाइसली फॉर देम एज वेल। अगर हार जाते हैं तो then life gets very very interesting because Iran get knocked out but USA then have a chance to go through to the knockout rounds. Beautifully set up, right? USA के लिए जीतना एक विकल्प नहीं, आवश्यकता है। It's not an option, it is a necessity. If they draw, they lose, back to the United States of America and go host the next World Cup. Wales are technically not out, but they need something incredible. They would hope that a result in the Iran-USA game goes in their favor, preferably a draw, and they go on to beat England by 4 or more goals. And that's the only way they can make it to the knockout rounds. I'm out of breath, really. इतने सारे permutations, combinations मैंने आपको बता दिया, but simple सी बात है कि the favorites to go through in Group A are of course Netherlands and Ecuador as things stand, and the favorites to go through from Group B, surprise, are England, yes, but Iran, maybe USA. Don't rule out Wales either. What a day we have in store at the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. हमेशा की तरह स्पोर्ट्स 18 नेटवर्क पे आप हमारी कवरेज से जुड़ सकते हैं किक ऑफ से 1 घंटा पहले, और इन मैचेस में क्या हुआ इसकी कहानी मैं आपको अगले रिव्यू में बताऊंगा। आप अपने कमेंट्स के जरिए बता दीजिए कि आप इस वीडियो को कैसे रिव्यू करते हैं। होपफुली यू एंजॉयड द चैट, होपफुली यू एंजॉयड द परम्यूटेशंस एंड कॉम्बिनेशंस, एंड लेट मी नो योर प्रेडिक्शंस। गुड बाय।